Hi, my name is Alissa Johnson. I am the owner and founder of Alissa Johnson Interiors based out of Chicago, Illinois. We focus on primary or luxury residential projects as well as boutique commercial projects in Chicago, as well as the Houston and New York area and beyond. I actually majored in business, and I had a job opportunity in when I lived in California at this design firm that I had always followed. I always had a passion for design, but never actually had a career in that. And I got this opportunity, and I started out on the basically the bookkeeping, accounting, purchasing, basically anything to do with numbers. I started out on that side of the business. I moved to Chicago, and I started out a design firm that was very new, and I stepped in and kind of said, okay, here's the basically the systems that you use, here's how you make money, here's like a good process, things like that. And then I quickly became the COO there. And then during the pandemic is whenever I branched off on my own. My mom was showing me like this little book that I would fill out every grade school year. So first grade, second grade, third grade, and then sixth grade, it says, what do I want to be when I grow up? And I said, interior decorator. And I was like, oh, I love that. So I feel like I always had kind of like that business entrepreneurial mindset, but I still loved, that creative aspect. So I feel like what I do now, it's marrying the two, and I love it. I love the different design styles, and I think that's another reason why I'm trying to, continue outreaching outside of the Chicagoland area, because of the different styles. I mean, learning interior design in California is obviously very different than Chicago. Speaking of older homes, and I never experienced any of that in California. So this was like learning a lot more that way. And I also just love learning about new things and new styles and new challenges. Older homes or condos or apartments in New York are very different than Chicago. And that actually requires a lot more. Some that just haven't been touched in forever and needed so much work. In Chicago, there's like your standard single family home where you walk in, you've got a small foyer, living room, dining room, kitchen, and then family room. And then you go, like, it's almost like the same layout over and over and over. Whereas Texas, it's spread out. It's, a lot more like you can use bigger pieces of furniture. There's not as much, the need for storage. There's typically already storage built in. So I find in Chicago, just using these like as the comparison, in Chicago, we're constantly trying to find in New York, every little nook and cranny to find like a good storage solution to build in somewhere. I don't know if this is a contradictory opinion, but I feel like the open concept is kind of going away to a certain extent. I feel like it depends on the context, but I think people are looking for, creating a space per area to a certain extent, like not super closed off, every single room. But I feel like it also, having not so much of an open floor plan, allows for individuality in each room. Whereas, if you have your whole, first floor wide open, it's all the same paint color for the most part, same materials. You're looking at a full room. Versus just kind of like individual spaces. So even like closing in that foyer and creating a moment there, and then maybe not completely closing off the formal living room from the kitchen area, but just kind of maybe having like a smaller, like a partition. So then that creates its moment. So I feel like that's probably something that could, maybe go away eventually. Or I find us walking into homes and building things out a little bit more to close things off so it doesn't feel like you're sitting in the living room staring at the dining table. You kind of have that moment of here's this area and there's that area. We demoed an entire home, and it was a very, very old home. And the construction workers then decided that they did not want to work until once the sun started to go down, because they said that it was haunted. So that was kind of creepy. At first, it was this massive empty house, and the crew was very, very adamant about, no, in the basement there was this, there was that. I heard this, and they were all very, very dead set that there were ghosts in there. So that was a little bit creepy. But actually, now that I don't know what was going on there, but it's got a very nice zen to the space now. There's nothing that's creepy at all about the home. It's actually the loveliest family home. I actually live in a church, and it's been recently renovated for condo units. So I always forget when I'm inside, and if someone or a delivery person's never been here, they're like, I'm lost. I don't know where am I? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's the church. You can drop it inside or come inside. So it's fun because not a lot of people know there's condos inside, but I love that it's different, and obviously the architecture outside is just beautiful. That you come inside and it's just very modern. You would never know that you're inside a church.